everyone, welcome to this week's Trimcraft Tuesday video. I know I usually do sped up process videos, and don't worry, it will only be a few minutes of real time to explain what I'm doing, and then we'll go to the sped up normal process stuff. So yes, what I'm going to be doing in this video is doing my autumn planner setup using the Paper Addicts Lost Forest paper pad. I have gone through this whole paper pad in a previous video, but I just thought it would be really gorgeous to do an autumn planner setup with. The planner I am using is this beautiful honeycomb Webster's Pages one, which I picked up on Amazon recently for the bargain price of £17. I have looked, it is no longer that price on Amazon. I must have just caught a blip or something, but I will link it if you are interested. Obviously I don't really need to go through it or anything, it's just very beautiful white planner with the copper honeycomb foiling there. I hope you can see that shadiness there. A brown strap loop thing. Gold rings, of course, because I have to have gold rings. Brown on the inside. We got the flap, we got the pockets, we got another pocket back there, which I probably won't use because it's a bit too tight. Pocket there, pen loop, and the little dangly bit there. Charm is the word I was looking for. So yeah, this video is a bit different from the usual, and I will be setting this up using this, basically putting everything that is in this planner just into there, not particularly changing the setup as such. Now I know some of you who are regulars might be yelling at the screen at the moment going, but Grace, I thought you were bullet journaling now. Why on earth do you need to set up a ring planner? Yes, I am still bullet journaling in here, but I still find myself grabbing this a lot of the time because it's got my, it's my full year diary in here. There's info in here and lots of bits and pieces that I still need reference to that I can't really fit into here. So yes, those my reasons. And yeah, there it is really. So I'm just going to set this bad boy up using the beautiful paper pad. I'll speed it up, talk over it, and then come back to you and just do a very quick flip through at the end. Okay then, let's get going. For those of you who are just interested in pure planner setups and don't want to see the creative process of like making the dividers and stuff, that's perfectly cool. Just fast forward to the end when I go through. I'm perfectly fine with that. But for those sticking around, what I am doing is going through the paper pad and choosing kind of my favourite papers, and also the ones that are like slightly more autumnal kind of thing, like the more brown ones and stuff like that. And I'm using this little template that I made a very long time ago for making dividers, because I, you know, change up planner setup sometimes. I have a template basically, and they're just really easy to make. You just you know, cut a piece of card to 17.1 centimeters tall by 10.5 wide, mark off the first centimeter, work out your tab sizes, draw them on, and then sort of make the little curved edges kind of thing, and then you've got your little templates. So I've got one for, you know, 4 tabs, 5 tabs, 6 tabs, maybe 7 tabs. Probably don't go too higher than that, because then your tabs will be really teeny tiny. But yeah, just a really handy thing to have around, and then you can just, you know, draw around your template to make your dividers like that. Just saves a lot of time in the long run. So yes, I'm gonna cut out all of those. As you can see, I'm using my 5 tab little divider there, and now I am just, once those are all cut, I'm just sort of erasing off any little stray little pencil lines kind of thing, because we don't want to be seeing those. Then I realised I had not chosen a front paper for my dashboard, and I'm just cutting out these little acorns here because I know I'm going to fussy cut some of those. And that paper there that's got the bears on it, it's the reverse side of that, this wood grain side, that I want to use for my dashboard because I think it's my favourite paper. I know it's really like simple because it's just a wood grain, and all the other ones have like lovely patterns and stuff, but I just love a wood grain, guys. I can't help it. So next I'm going to fussy cut a load of little bits and pieces from the paper pad. I've got like the bears and the acorns and the leaves. There's a rabbit, which I don't know if I'm going to use, and I don't know if it's a rabbit or a hare. I never quite know how to tell the difference when they're cartoon versions. But yes, just fussy cutting out a couple of bits and pieces from there just to have them ready to use as embellishments and such. So once that is done, if I'm ever going to finish, there we go, I'm going to start sort of decorating all my different dividers and my dashboard. So I'm going to pull out this stamp set, which I've used before in a different video. It was from the Creative Stamping magazine, I think, it's either the August or the September freebie. I'm just using a couple of those. Now you can see that I'd already stamped and embossed a quote. It's the one that says something like autumn is a second spring where every leaf is a flower. Now I stamped and embossed that, but the embossing was just, the stamp was too delicate to emboss like that, so just ignore that. I'd done that and went, oh, because you can't really read it unless you know what it says. you can't really read what it says kind of thing. But anyway, so I've just stamped and embossed with some sparkly copper embossing powder, those leaves on there, and then I did still want to include that quote, so I've just stamped it with some Stays On black ink, and I'm going to just put it on like that using that sort of the white paper with the wiggly lines on it. Again, that's from the same paper pad. I didn't like it just straight on there, so I'm just going to do ye old technique of using an embossing pen and sort of putting the ink around the edges and just adding the embossing powder around the edges. It's just such a pretty effect, and it's so easy to do. You don't have to have an embossing pen to do it. You could just use your ink pad and sort of just dab it around the edge of the of your paper. I just find it slightly easier with an embossing pen personally. And yeah, I've just backed it like that, put it on like that, and that is pretty much the front of my divider done. I'm just going to round the edges. No, I'm going to add another thing. I decided I wanted to do that same effect of embossing the edges with the gold sparkly embossing powder. I think I just did it on the top and the bottom. I thought doing it on every edge might be a little bit too much, but yes, so I've just done that at the top, at the bottom, because you always want your divider to be dashboard to be pretty and grab attention and that kind of thing. For my dividers, these stamps I'm playing with here, by the way, those are all Dovecraft ones. But yeah, I'm not going overboard with decorating my dividers. I kind of want the papers to speak for themselves. They're all pretty, they're all autumnal. So that one, I've just added some of those little fussy cut acorns on. The back of that, I'm just going to add the stamp that says "Let's Go Nuts" and a little acorn on there, just because I thought it was kind of funny, really, because I'm a bit sad like that. And again, I'm embossing that in gold. I'm using 4 different embossing powders throughout this whole video, by the way. There's a sort of a plain metallic copper and a metallic gold, and then a sparkly gold and a sparkly copper, and of course I will link them all in the description box below. I'm stamping and embossing this bunny stamp from Trimcraft. Don't ask me why sometimes I'm using my stamping platform and sometimes I'm using my stamping blocks. I think it's because my platform is kind of new, so I kind of forget that I have it, and I did regret not using it for that bunny stamp, because when you see it in more close up at the end or something, I did kind of mess up that stamping, and it's just kind of a bit of a smudgy bunny. I mean, you can still see it's a bunny, but it's a very smudgy bunny. Anyway, here I am stamping the Stag Dovecraft stamp, and again, I'm going to emboss that. I'm doing a lot of embossing in this video, as you may have already noticed. And yes, that's just going to go on my divider, which has got the stags on it, as you can see. And again, just keeping it simple, I'm just going to cut around that paper. I'm going to distress the edges of it, because I just thought that would look quite nice and quite in keeping with the whole autumnal rustic kind of vibe I'm going for with this setup. And that's it, really. This one, I'm adding the little stag stamp from Dovecraft Falkland and just kind of stamping it all over in a sort of pattern, and then adding this puffy sticker from Dovecraft Lost and Found just in the middle there. Probably not my favourite divider, this one. I think I talk about that more at the end, about what I wish I'd done, but you know, hindsight is something or other. What's the phrase? I've forgotten what the phrase is. This last one, I'm just adding some little fussy cut bears on there just because they're super cute, and I love that brown against that sort of what colour are we calling that? It's quite slightly darker than a mustard. It's a dark mustard, that's what we'll call it. And then on the back, adding some of these little fussy cut leaves. I will admit these were quite fiddly to fussy cut, but the paper's not, it's not paper, it's cardstock basically, so when it's thicker like that, it does make life a bit easier when you're fussy cutting the teeny bitty little tiny things. Now off camera, because I thought I'm basically doing the same thing over again, I'm just stamping and embossing on things, so I didn't think it was necessary to leave it all in. But I've made 4, do I make 5 in total? I'm not sure. Just of these little things. I like to have little tip-ins and stuff, as well as my dividers, just because they look pretty and they look nice. So I've made a couple of those, and you know, stamp stuff on them, add fussy cut things. And then I decided at this point, just to add a little extra something, I'm going to add Distress Oxide around the edges of all my little bits and pieces. Again, it just more autumnal, and it gives them a bit more depth and more interest, and I just like it basically. Because I'm using Distress Oxide, Wild Honey, Tea Dye and Ground Espresso, so like I'm using the lightest colour on the darkest paper and vice versa kind of thing. And then I'm going through my planner sticker books and just adding a couple of stickers. I really like little uplifting quotes and stuff. I just like them looking at me as I go through my planner. It's nice to see them in there kind of thing, and just something motivational that just makes you go, oh,
yeah, that's nice. So I've added a load of those onto these little bits I'm making here. I've got my laminator warming up there, which is interesting because the blinky light doesn't blink when in real life kind of thing, but it is blinking when it's sped up. Oh, that's interesting. So yes, my least favourite part of doing a planner setup is this laminating bit here. And like, this footage is sped up, I think, 2.5 times, and yet it still seems so slow going through the laminator. Look at that. And that's 2.5 times sped up. Like, how slow is it in real life? This is why I don't enjoy the laminating so much, but it's necessary. I mean, you can get away with not laminating things, but I just prefer it. On here, this sort of long little thing I've made here, one of my many little cards, I'm going to use this as a little tab to get to my diary section for the current week in my diary. I often make these on my silhouette, but I just decided for this just to add stickers at the top and then fussy cut it. Just, I don't know, just kind of felt like it. And I know a lot of you guys don't have a silhouette to use, so kind of showing you what else you can use other than silhouette or purchasing something from Etsy or whatever. So yeah, you just add like alpha stickers at the top, laminate, and then you fussy cut around it, and you've kind of got the same kind of thing. So this is what I do when I laminate. I laminate them all at once, fitting as many things into one laminating sheet as possible. Then I cut them, and then I laminate them again, basically, just to make sure they're extra laminated. I don't know. Sometimes when you cut them, it can make the laminate sheets slightly get a bit separated from each other, like a little bit crinkled and stuff. So just laminating them again, just make sure it's nice and smooth and all done and finished and stuff. So yes, and then all those little excess bits that you've cut off, there's me fussy cutting that diary bit there that I was just talking about. All those bits there, all recyclable. I checked. If you are very, very frugal though, you can actually keep the big bits that you cut off and use them as acetate or something for shaker cards. Just personally, I don't, but you can use them. I have done in the past, just those bits of laminate, those big chunky bits. They work perfectly as acetate. So just a little random unrelated tip there. And now I'm just going to start putting everything in the planner. So in case you're wondering why I'm not using a 6-hole punch like a Rapesco or something, when I'm putting in my dashboards and dividers and stuff, I just like to use a single hole punch because it's slightly more accurate. Just using a previous insert or a previous divider or something, using it as a guide and then punching each hole separately. Because with the Rapesco, like the one I have, I think the new one is a bit more accurate, but the one I have, you just kind of have to guess that it's in the right place. And so sometimes, you know, one divider will be slightly higher than another one, and that upsets me greatly. So that's why I use the single hole punch. When it's just like my normal random inserts, like paper ones, then I'll just use the Rapesco. But yes, as I said, that's probably because I've got the old one and I think the new one is more accurate. I'll link it anyway. They are good hole punches. This one, I'm just going to add some ribbon in there just to add little tassels or something to look pretty. And this is, I always use this little tassel divider thing to get to my passwords section, because the amount of times I need to get to my passwords in a hurry, like, you know, you've got 10 minutes to pay for something, or you'll lose your place in line or something, and then I'm just like, I don't know what my password is, and then you run upstairs. And anyways, that was side note. That's why I put the tassels for my password, because I often need to get to them very, very quickly. And just punching in more things here in my little, I don't know what we're going to call these, tip-ins or something, just little pretty cards that I just like to add because they make me smile. That's the only reason, really. And things that make you smile and make you happy are always very good things. So now I am just going to decorate my pockets and stuff. I'm going to bring in some of these little vellum quotes or sentiments from the Make-A-Wish vellum pad, just choosing some of my favourite kind of things there. I don't end up using that black hello, unfortunately. I really like it though, but it didn't end up working with what I end up doing with it, kind of thing. And then again, bringing in my favourite paper, the wood grain. Why am I so dull and just find the wood grain my favourite? I don't know, but I'm going to add the yay onto there and have that coming through the window. Now, using a tape runner or any sort of double-sided tape kind of thing was an error here, because you can kind of see the adhesive behind there. I obviously wasn't paying attention or something, but oh well, is all I can say. It's not ideal, but oh well. And then I'm cutting more little bits just to put in these little pockets. They are roughly 7.5 centimeters across, and then I just slip them in, work out how tall they need to be, add a little snip, and then cut the rest off kind of thing. And then adding little paper clips and just cute little bits and pieces that just, again, things that make me smile, things that make me happy. None of it whatsoever is functional. Okay, maybe that little thing of stickers there is vaguely functional, but for the most part, it's just things to bring me happiness and joy and all that kind of thing. I've never been one for functional pockets. I've tried putting like functional things in the pockets, things that I think will be useful, but I've just never ended up using them, and I forget that they're there, especially if they're like in a zip pocket or something. Not that this planner has those, but anyways, I've cut one big piece there just to have behind the main secretarial pocket. Added the hello. That's when I changed the original hello and got a gold foiled one, just because the black you couldn't really see it. The paper clip, that's sort of the round orange one, is from Trimcraft Lost and Found, and I'm adding more little fussy cut bits and pieces just to look cute. Really, that's my excuse for everything in this entire video, isn't it? I like it. It looks cute. That is the reason for all of the things. But yes, I just wasn't 100% happy with how my dashboard was looking at this point, so I added that peg and another little fussy cut piece. I need my little Kate Spade bow on all my planners because it's just so beautiful, but that bow, I've had it for a long time now, and the paper clip is kind of loose, so to speak, so I've just sort of clipped it in, added some washi just to make it a bit more secure. Obviously, it's not a functional paper clip, and Conan has come to help as per usual, and I was towards the end of the process here, so instead of pausing the video and giving him attention, I thought I'll just do it slightly underneath him, because I think it was quite late at night and he was just like, human, it is time for sleep times and you need to feed me before sleep times. So anyways, still finishing off, adding all those little bits and pieces. There's just so many little things you can use in these Paper Addict pads. They are lots of fun to use. I'm going to add a little stag charm that is from the Folkland collection. I'm just going to add it on the little sort of tag charm that comes with the planner. It did actually take me ages. I did cut out a load of footage. I am not very good with little fiddly things like that. I am never going to be the kind of person who can make their own charms. Just not going to happen. I suck at little fiddly things. Adding my big charm there. I'll talk about that at the end. And I think adding this pen, I am pretty much done.
Right then. All set up, all finished. As promised, I'll just do a very quick sort of overview of the setup and what I've done, and that I haven't recorded the voiceover part yet, so apologies if I'm repeating myself on anything. Charm I added at the side here is one I bought a very, very long time ago from Michelle at Uglybug. It's just sort of that little autumnal leaves and a little hinty of Halloween, because I do love my Halloween stuff. I also added on here one of the little Folkland stags there, just to add as an extra little charm. And then yes, inside you saw me do all of this. I've added this little Trimcraft sticker book, just it's got like little handy planner things in there, so I've put that in there, or I'll put it back in a minute. Some more little planner stickers, little Carpe Diem ones that just hang out in there. I never use my pockets for functional purposes. I've said this many times, so I always just decorate them with something pretty. Added these things from Dovecraft Make-A-Wish, the vellum pad, just the hello and the yay, and hello Conan. Are you just going to sit there while I do this, or are you going to interrupt? You're just going to sit there and behave? Ha, likely story. But yes, I love the word yay, and I seem to include it in all of my planners, so that's there. I'm not too happy with the way that I added the adhesive, and you can kind of see the stripes, but it's not too big a deal. That plan paper clip, oh, he's gone. That plan paper clip I've had forever. I cannot tell you where it's from. Same for this bow. It's gold. I just thought it matched. This is from Trimcraft Lost and Found, and yes, just pretty things. Added here a peg from Trimcraft Lost and Found. I always need my little gold cat paper clip, so that's been added there. Not really anything on the reverse. There's another little thing you saw me make, this little just tip in kind of thing. I just like to have all these little bits and pieces in my plan. It just makes me happy to look at pretty things. I've got BU Bravely. The gold on that wood grain are just, oh, so very pretty. This piece of vellum is always in my planner. I don't know why. It's been in my main planner for years now. I just think it's really, really pretty. And then I've got a load of stickers at the front. I was thinking about adding labels to my tabs, and then I changed my mind because I never have labels on my tabs and I know where everything is. Here I've just added those acorns and this bear puffy sticker from Lost and Found, and I ended up adding some more of these because once I'd laminated this first one, I realised how well it does laminate over the puffy sticker because I was concerned about that. But yeah, it laminates really well, and a little bit of texture there. So got the Let's Go Nuts on the other side. I didn't want to overdo it on the dividers, but just little areas of interest and such. Then this little one that says love this day with the squirrel stamp and the happy plans, do all the things, love all the people. And then there's just my diary, file of facts week on 1 page things. I never decorate these. These just have, you know, if I need to write an appointment or an important event or something that's going to end up going into like my main weekly plans or whatever, that's just all in there. And then here just leads me to the current week, and I've cut slots in here so we can just pop it in and out like so. And then today is a new day. I thought that would be quite nice on my diary divider thing. Next section, we got the bunny and the wild and free. And then I really regret not doing more of this just plain black stamping, because when I did it on this divider, I didn't like it so much, so I didn't do it on any others. But once it's laminated, I feel it actually looks quite nice. So something to learn for the future. Then maybe the black stamping at first, you're like, eh, and then, as I say, you laminate it and it looks a lot better. This section is my finances section. A lot of this is obviously private, like this little card underneath here has all my direct debit dates on here, so I'm just going to sort of breeze through that section there. Next section, use the stag paper and that little embossed stag there and just sort of distress the edges of that, kind of like the way that looks. Left that side blank because it's just kind of pretty enough as it is. Another one of my little just tip in things just for prettiness' sake, and I really like this sticker here that says you did not wake up this morning to be mediocre. Just thought that was nice. And this is just my brain dump section full of lists and things like that. I do like making a good list. Next section is my book section. I got this little book paperclip. Oh, one thing I keep meaning to do is add some more paper clips as I go through. I have ordered some autumnal themed paper clips from an Etsy store, but they haven't shipped yet. Just, you know, the way it is with handmade things from Etsy. So those will be going in here once they arrive. Just some autumnal leaves and a little pumpkin spice latte paperclip because I am basic, and a book one as well. So yes, but obviously I can't put them in now because I haven't got them. This divider isn't my favourite looking at it. I kind of wish that I would have done some clever stamping and like not inked the horns and then I put the head underneath the horns there kind of thing. But it's always the thing where you look at it later on and go, oh, I could have done that, but it's too late now. And as I said, this is just my book section with current reads and want to reads and that kind of thing there. And then the last section, that divider, I just added those little bears and stuff. As I keep saying, I didn't want to just kind of overdo it, just make them a little bit pretty, a little bit autumnal. And I'm really glad that I did the oxides around the edge of each divider. It just adds that sort of extra autumnal rustic kind of thing going on there. I'm just going to add this paperclip here because I think that's kind of cute and matches. And this section just has my meal ideas and birthday information. This section back here, this little sort of subdivider I've made with the tassels at the top, this is my password section. Now don't worry anyone freaking out about me having my passwords in my planner. They are all written in code. So I'm still going to cover it up though, just in case. I don't think anyone would crack my code, but as I said, just in case. And just covering those up, the other side I've just put that little live in the moment thing. So yeah, it's a very simple little setup. I haven't really gone all out. One thing I forgot to do was a page lifter at the back, so I will probably add one of those in with another one of my favourite papers from the paper pad. I guarantee you I will probably forget. Just got my sticker book here, which I'm always rubbish at remembering to use, so hopefully having it in here will remind me to use it. This pen is one of those sort of cheap ones from eBay with the gems in it. It's like not an official Pen Gems or a Swarovski, know the brand I mean there, but I just thought that sort of orangey, sort of funny, it's a weird gold, isn't it? But it kind of matches the whole thing. And then yeah, that's it really. This is my favourite paper here, the wood grain. I just love the wood grain. I'm a simple girl. I just want to figure out where I want to add these little extra paper clips and then I am done. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different Trimcraft Tuesday video. We will be back to our usual schedule next week. But yes, really recommend these Paper Addicts paper pads because they've got such a mix of lovely patterns and there's good bits in there to fussy cut and stuff. So it's just a great mix of like more plain ones like the wood grain and as I said, all the ones to fussy cut. And there's loads and loads of different styles and they're a really good price as well. So if you can get to somewhere like the Range to have a good look at them all, I really recommend that. But links, of course, will be in the description box, as well as all like the little extra things I use, like little bits from Lost and Found and little bits from Folkland and stuff. So yes, I think that's pretty much all I have to say, but please leave me a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. And yes, okay, I'm done. Links, description box. Please leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. All the usual stuff to say at the end of the video. I am now going. Thank you again.